Hi, my name's Ron and I would like to do a series of videos on spirituality for sinners. And the first thing I want to talk about is your image of God. Your image of God is how you see God, what you imagine God to be like. And this is very important because it will affect your relationship with God. It will affect how you pray. It will affect how you see yourself and how you see the world around you. Bad religion, unhealthy religion, immature religion promotes unhealthy and toxic images of God. Good religion promotes positive and healthy images of God. For example, if you think God is a policeman in the sky, judging everything you do so that, at the end of life you are going to be rewarded, well then don't be surprised if you're full of guilt and shame and self-hatred, which you then go and dump on everybody else. Or if you think God is an old man in the sky who is angry and punishing, then don't be surprised if you yourself become angry and punishing. A lot of people who don't believe in God and who reject God don't so much reject God, they're rejecting these negative images of God, and so they should, because these are not the images of God taught by Jesus, who taught that God was much more like a loving and compassionate parent who wants to give of himself, herself, to all of creation. It's important to remember at this point that images of God are precisely that. They're just images of God. They're metaphors. Muslims and Jews, for example, if you walk into a synagogue or a mosque, there are no paintings or statues or images of God, because they understand, and they're correct, that nothing the human mind can conceive of or nothing the human hands can create can come anywhere near God. Ultimately, God is a mystery, and all religions are simply fingers pointing to the moon of this mystery. All their doctrines and rituals and teachings are trying to lead their adherents, lead their followers to intimate union, intimate communion with this great mystery that we call God. Jews call it Yahweh, Muslims call it Allah, Christians call it the Trinity, Hindus call it Brahman, Buddhists call it the Buddha mind or the void, emptiness. Indigenous people call it the Great Spirit or the Ancestor Spirits. Some people today call it the Ever-Present Witness. Whatever you call it, they're all pointing to this great mystery. All the religions are like the fingers on your hands. On the surface, they're different, but as you go into the center, they converge and they become very similar. So what all these religions are saying is that God is not a particular thing out there. God is not a person up there in the sky. These are just images. And we need these images because our mind cannot conceive of the mystery of God, just like our minds can't conceive the concept of a millionth of a second or 100,000 light years away. These ideas are just beyond our minds to comprehend, and it's the same with the mystery of God. So, here are some helpful images of God that I find helpful and that you might find helpful as well. Imagine the ocean, and you've got fish in the ocean, and you've got different fish. You've got whales, dolphins, turtles, and so on and so forth. Well, God is not a particular fish in the ocean. God is much more the ocean itself. Or imagine the air. God is like the air. You can't see the air. It's within you. It surrounds you. It gives life to everything. Or God is like the earth itself. The earth sustains all things, gives life to all things. All things will return to the earth. Imagine a city. In a city you've got skyscrapers, buildings, street lights, neon lights. Now at night all these things are lit up. God is not a particular building. God is the electricity that gives light and energy to all of it. So these are just some images that may help in your understanding of God. So what I'm trying to say is that God is not a life with a small l, God is life itself with a capital L. Or God is not a being with a small b, God is being itself with a capital B. God is not a consciousness, God is consciousness itself. And everything that lives, everything that exists, from atoms to the largest galaxy, from the ocean to eagles, from insects to human beings, all participate in or sharing in their own way the life, being and consciousness of God. So this is the great mystery that all religions are somehow pointing to. This is the great mystery that Jesus described as a compassionate parent who wants to give of himself, herself to the world, who wants to serve the world. This is the great mystery which Jesus taught to call Abba, Father. And in my next couple of videos, I want to expand and look more closely at what Jesus taught about God. Thank you for listening.